This is INCRadio, DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesia ni Cristo.
Hello? 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 Hello, everyone, and welcome to Phone a Friend, brought to you by INCRadio Oregon. I am Geraldine Langit, and I will be your host for today. Before we go ahead and continue with our show today, I would like to do my personal greetings. I would like to say hi to our resident minister in the local congregation of Vancouver, Brother J. Cruz and his family, as well as also to my family who's watching at home, my sisters who are in other sides of the world, my sister in the Philippines, Ate Melissa del Rosario, and my other sister, Sister Christina Cassandra Langit, there in Texas. And hello to everyone watching our show today. I am super happy and glad that you are here to support our show. So our episode today is titled The Job Pursuit. So what we can expect in our show are the following. We have advice and tips on where and how to search for your next career. We also have our Healthwise featuring the district CMDPS, Give Blood, Save Lives. And lastly, we also have our Oregon Bulletin. And so we invite you to keep engaging with us in our live chat, and we would love to share your essential tips for our brethren looking for a new career. So now we'll go ahead and go to our topic. While we just wrapped up our education series for Phone a Friend, what comes next is the job search. Whether you take a gap year or head straight into your career, this step begins with the pursuit for jobs within a competitive market. So our panelists today who have had this experience will help us on how to overcome these difficulties. So why don't we go ahead and introduce our first panelist, Brother Michael Hudson. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
How you doing, everybody? Brother Michael Hudson from the locale of Vancouver, Washington. Just wanted to wish everybody a happy Saturday. Wanted to greet my beautiful wife, Tessa, and also my parents who are in the District of Virginia in South Carolina. Happy to be here today.
Right. Well, we're really happy to have you here in our show today. We also have our other panel, Brother Craig Castillo. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Brother Craig Castillo from the locale of Hillsboro, Oregon. Greetings to Khadija and his family, as well as my parents over in the locale congregation of Albany.
Well, I'm very excited for our topic today. Even I am looking for a job. I have a job right now, but I want to go to the next level of my job, my career. So for our newly graduated students, the job search might be a stressful experience because I know I have a stressful experience too. And I'm sure a lot of us have a similar question to our caller, Jonah Cadiz. So why don't we go ahead and listen to his concerns?
My name is Jonah Cadiz. I just graduated college and I feel like it's so hard to get a job. What resources can I explore to find jobs that will hire me?
All right, so let's go with Brother Michael. Kind of like Brother Jonah is also having a hard time looking for a job. He just graduated college. So what resources can you recommend to him to help him find a job?
Well, first of all, I don't even think you should go for a job. No, I'm just kidding. No, so like three resources, right, that I would do is the obvious ones like LinkedIn, Glassdoor, Indeed, Craigslist, not this, not Craigslist, but like actual Craigslist. The second resource is kind of underrated in my opinion. It's called meetup.org. And that's a really good way to really discover certain events in your area. and really find people who have common interests. So say, for example, you love hiking or you love gardening or something like that. You can find groups of people that have that same interest. And then thirdly, I would also add in a networking. That's huge because when it comes to finding a new job, like relationships are everything. Like knowing people who know your expertise and know your skills is really important because at the end of the day, finding a job is a numbers game. So you want to be able to discover events in your area, whether it be like Chamber of Commerce events or any like mixers and things like that, and just meet the right people. And then a bonus tip I would say is also like the power of prayer. So really having like an established devotional prayer for the type of job that you want and the type of opportunity as well.
Yeah, definitely. I love that. I would say out of the resources that you mentioned, I would agree that the power of prayer is the best one because you can ask God to help you find a job that will not only help you in your life, but also help you not forsake your duties in the church. So yeah, I love that. And also you mentioned an underrated website, which is the Meetup.
Meetup.org.
Meetup.org. Another, I thought of it, another underrated website. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called the handshake.com. So I believe this is for those who are still in school, they're in college. They can find kind of like some jobs that are connected to their college. So for example, for me, I went to Clark College and I would search up my school there and a bunch of internships, or shadowing are there. So I think that was also a good resource. And how about you, Brother? What can you recommend other than the ones that Brother Michael have mentioned?
Yeah, meetup.org, that's something that I personally have used as well, to help a lot with that, and networking especially. So coming out of like college and coming out of school, that was kind of my first instinct, other than, the usual application process and things like that. Just trying to find the right people in the places that, or in the spaces that I wanted to work in. Just kind of finding any sort of connection there, kind of going where the success is, I guess you could say. And just building the right relationships there. That's personally helped me a lot in terms of my career history and finding jobs and finding work.
Yeah, those are really good. I'm just curious. Can you both share what you do for a living now that you've done all of those resources you've mentioned and what that led you today? So why don't we start with you, Brother Michael?
Yeah, so I don't have like a traditional job. I own a business. So we own a social media marketing agency. So we help local businesses get more leads every month through video content. So that's what I've been doing the past 3 years. But leading up to that, I worked a variety of jobs, anywhere from marketing for a restaurant to marketing for an insurance firm. It got to the point where I just felt like the 9 to 5 life wasn't really my thing. Not to say it's a bad thing, but it just wasn't. I just didn't vibe with it. So I got to the point where I just basically turned in my 2 weeks, started this company, and haven't looked back ever since. So.
Yeah, nice. That's really amazing. If you can't find a job, just build your own.
There you go. Yeah.
How about you, Brother Craig? What are you doing now?
So in terms of my work history, I've also kind of been in a more unconventional kind of like, self-employment kind of space. I have worked, other jobs as well. But for a long time, I did work in like production, like video production and visual kind of stuff. And then recently I've been working more in the sales space. So like marketing and things like that.
Wow, that's great. Kind of like you mentioned because I have like kind of like freelancer, like you have your own job, you do your own thing, make it out of a living, something that maybe it was just a hobby before and now it's part of your kind of like your career. So I kind of want to just mention, even you both mentioned about networking and meeting other people. Maybe someone is too shy to go out there. I would say start by attending church activities because even in our church, most of all, there are brethren, kind of like you, Brother Michael, who have their um, own company. So maybe you can talk to them, tell them your skills, tell them your experience, and who knows, maybe they're also looking for someone like you. So that kind of like builds up a confidence. If you can't just talk to other people who have like a huge company, you can always start, I guess, start from home. I would say.
Yeah, and to add to that, I would also say like it really just depends like how bad you want it, right? Because
Mm,
I think at the end of the day, if you see all the successful people in life, like they're willing to step out of their comfort zone
Yes.
to because I can tell you right now, I haven't always been like this. Like I was super shy,
mm,
in
Yeah.
my younger days. It was hard for me to talk to people,
yeah.
but if you really want something and you really want to make a change, then you have to make a change in yourself.
Right.
Take the
And
initiative.
yeah, exactly. So you got to put yourself in uncomfortable situations. You have to do things that you normally aren't used to doing. But I
Mm-hmm.
promise you, when you do that and put the reps in and continue to do that, you're just gonna grow. So
Yeah. So it definitely starts within yourself
Yeah,
before
exactly.
you
can
get out
definitely
there.
vouch for that as well because growth doesn't happen in the comfort zone. It comes from pushing out of it. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, I love that you mentioned that. So other than your very helpful recommendation or resources, we also have our sister Rose Guillermo, who will share her experience from moving to a new country and finding a career here in the United States. Why don't we go ahead and listen to her insights?
So I've been a legal assistant back in the Philippines for like almost 12 years. And I was really expecting that it'll be difficult for me to find a job here in the States. And I was thinking that I'll be jobless for at least 2 to 3 months. Job position that I have back in the Philippines. Because the laws in the Philippines are different from the laws here in the States. Because I've been in the legal field and I was a graduate of legal management. But what I did is I prayed. In applying, I prayed for a job that won't hinder me in performing my duty and in attending worship services. So I started applying for a legal assistant position. I was like just trying 2 to 3 days of applying. I received a job interview, and within 2 weeks of applying, I got hired as a legal assistant and was even promoted as a paralegal within 1 month of being employed. So nothing is impossible with prayer. Nothing is impossible with God. As long as we ask, He'll give, and that we have faith and in our prayer, God will grant our prayer and give us the job that He thinks that is good for us.
Yeah, so I love what Sister Rose that she shared her insights. It's really not easy to move for her case, she moved from the Philippines to the United States, and she also mentioned about um, having different laws in the Philippines and having different laws here in the United States. But even then, um, you kind of like what you both mentioned. You kind of just have to go out of your comfort zone, be confident in your skills, and the most important thing that she mentioned is having your devotional prayer, kind of like what Brother Michael said. Just trusting in God that it's not, even though it's hard, He will always be there to guide you and assist you in finding the right job for you. So I love that. Thank you, Sister Rose, for sharing your insight. Even though you're not here in our studio, we still loved what you shared with us. So before we go on ahead and go with our topic, I would like to greet or read some live chats. So our first live chat commenter is Sister Priscilla Batan. Thank you so much, po. And then we also have Brother Rani B. He said, I don't know if my friend can answer the question properly. Can I borrow someone else's friend? I can lend you Brother Michael and so you sure you can answer your question. We also have Brother Horex Estrada saying hello po from Portland. We also have our sister Danielle Macalental, Sister Josephine Navarro, and also Sister Chanel Esteban. She said, I stay job hunting, Sis Jillian, LOL. And then we also have our sister Mary Jane Angeles saying hello from Hillsborough, and Brother Rod Christopher Reyes from the local of Portland. So we'll go read more of our chat in a little bit, but in this part of our show, we'll go ahead and go to our segment, our Healthwise by CMDPS entitled Give Blood, Save Lives. Go ahead and watch this video.
Hello, everyone. I'm Lorelai Argoso, CMDPS President of Oregon, or Christian Medical, Dental, and Paramedical Society. You are now tuned in to Phone a Friend, presented to you by INCRadio Oregon, featuring Healthwise segment. What if I told you that every 2 seconds here in the US, someone needs blood transfusion? That's 43,000 units or pints of blood used each day. But despite of this incredible demand, only a few amount of people actually donate. Some of the reasons may be that a lot of people have misconceptions about being a donor, or they are not aware of the benefits of donating blood, or simply they do not know if they are eligible or not. So today we will be discussing how to bridge this gap and help save lives.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. I'm CJ Mariano, a registered nurse representing the Christian Medical, Dental, and Paramedical Society, also known as CMDPS. We prepared an important health-wise topic to share with you today. Imagine this. An accident victim arrives at the emergency room, losing blood faster than doctors can replace it. Their survival depends entirely on whether compatible blood is available. Every 2 seconds in the US, someone needs blood. A cancer patient, a trauma victim, a premature baby, that's about 30,000 people every single day. And yet, fewer than 10% of eligible Americans actually donate. That means the need is constant, but the supply depends entirely on volunteers. Now think about that accident victim again. Their life could be saved because someone like you made time to donate. 1 pint of blood, 1 hour of your day, can save up to 3 lives. Today, we'll talk about why donating matters for recipients and for you. Every 2 seconds, a new person needs blood. That's how urgent the need is. There's no substitute for human blood. It cannot be manufactured. The purpose of today's presentation is to give you a deeper understanding of why blood donation is so critical, not just for patients, but for the health of our entire community. We'll explore the health benefits, who your donation helps, common myths that hold people back, and what to expect if it's your first time donating. By the end of this presentation, I hope you'll feel confident and inspired to give. Now let's start with an interesting point. Donating blood is good for you too. Each donation visit includes a mini health check where your temperature, pulse, blood pressure, and hemoglobin are screened. Many people find out about health issues early thanks to this step. Regular donations can help regulate iron levels, which supports heart health and reduces the risk of certain conditions linked to iron overload. There's also an emotional benefit. Knowing you're directly helping others can lift your mood, lower stress, and foster a sense of connection and purpose. Your body replenishes the donated blood within days, and that renewal process keeps your circulatory system healthy. And of course, every single donation can save up to 3 lives, an incredible return on such a small investment of time. So who exactly receives donated blood? The most obvious are trauma and accident victims, patients who've lost a significant amount of blood. But they're not the only ones. Cancer patients often need red cells and platelets during chemotherapy. Surgical and transplant patients rely on blood to stay stable during major procedures. Mothers experiencing complications during childbirth and premature infants in the NICU frequently need transfusions. And let's not forget individuals living with chronic conditions like sickle cell disease or severe anemia, who need ongoing support just to maintain daily health. Every pint of blood goes toward one of these real people, someone's parent, sibling, child, or friend. Many people hesitate to donate because of myths that simply aren't true. One common fear is feeling weak or faint afterward. In reality, most donors feel perfectly fine, and those who hydrate and eat beforehand usually have no issues at all. Another concern is safety. Every donation uses sterile, single-use equipment, and all blood is tested for infectious diseases. People often think tattoos, medications, or age will disqualify them, but that's rarely the case. Many donors with tattoos or on common prescriptions can still give blood. And the time factor? A full donation visit takes about an hour, and the actual blood draw lasts less than 10 minutes. Lastly, all blood types are valuable. Whether you're O negative, AB positive, or anything in between, there's always a patient out there who needs your type. Many people also assume they can't donate because they take medications or have chronic health conditions, but that's usually not true. So let's clear this up. If you're on blood pressure medication or blood thinners, you can often still donate. The staff will review your situation to make sure it's safe for both you and the recipient. If you have diabetes, you're eligible as long as your blood sugar is well controlled, whether that's managed with insulin, oral medication, or lifestyle. When it comes to travel, only visits to certain rural areas with high malaria exposure may cause a temporary deferral. Most domestic or urban international travel is not an issue. The important thing is to check directly with the organization hosting the blood drive. Eligibility guidelines can vary slightly, and they can give you the most accurate personalized information. Many people are pleasantly surprised to learn they can safely donate after all. If you've never donated before, here's what you can expect. Before your appointment, eat a healthy meal, get plenty of rest, and drink water. Bring your photo ID. When you arrive, you'll answer a short health questionnaire and have your vitals checked. During the donation, you'll be comfortably seated. The process itself usually takes around 10 minutes and collects about 1 pint of blood. Afterward, you'll rest briefly, enjoy a snack, and have a drink to rehydrate. Avoid heavy lifting or strenuous exercise for the rest of the day. Your body naturally replaces the lost fluids within 24 hours and your red blood cells within a few weeks. After your donation, your blood is carefully tested and separated into components, red cells, plasma, and platelets, so it can help multiple patients. You'll receive information on how to take care of yourself. Hydrate, eat iron-rich foods like leafy greens or lean meats, and rest if you need to. Most donors feel completely normal afterward and can return to work or school right away. You can donate whole blood again in 56 days, about every 2 months. Setting a reminder or making it part of your routine ensures a steady supply for those in need. Blood isn't something that lasts forever once collected. It is perishable. Red blood cells are viable for about 42 days and platelets for only 5 to 7 days. That's why hospitals rely on a continuous stream of donors. Regular donors are the backbone of our healthcare system. They make sure blood is ready when emergencies happen, rather than scrambling to find it afterward. Think of it this way. Consistent donors create a safety net for the entire community. When you give regularly, you're part of a life-saving chain that never stops. To wrap up, donating blood is one of the simplest, safest, and most meaningful acts you can do. It's an act that helps others survive, strengthens your own sense of well-being, and keeps our hospitals ready to respond at any time. I encourage you to make your first donation, or if you've donated before, to keep it going and inspire others to donate. Remember, 1 hour of your time can mean a lifetime for someone else. If you have any questions about eligibility, how to prepare, you can visit Bloodwork Northwest website and review their frequently asked questions. Thank you so much for listening today. Please keep this thought in mind. Your gift of blood, time, or kindness truly saves lives.
Now that we've learned the common misconceptions and benefits of donating blood, I hope to see you next time in our next blood donation activity here in our district and help save lives. Thank you once again for joining us here in our Healthwise segment in our Phone a Friend, presented to you by INCRadio Oregon.
All right. Thank you so much for our district CMDPS for preparing that slideshow, that video for us. And it was a really, really helpful show or slideshow for those who maybe they just know, yeah, blood saves lives, but that video does have a lot of information. It does help a lot. So hopefully we all see you in our future blood donation drive here in the District of Oregon. And so please look out for announcements for when and where that will be. All right, so we'll go ahead and read more of our live chats before we go to our second part of our discussion. So Brother Benny Castillo is saying hi to just not just the brethren here, but to those all over the world. And Sister Jillian is saying, that's a great option, Brother Michael. Be your own boss and make your own hours. And then she also mentioned, very true, Sister Geraldine. You can find connections with the brethren through attending activities because they can offer you opportunities or look out for some positions for you too. Definitely. And then Brother Alan Fogar is saying, expand your professional network by connecting with others in the same field. Utilize LinkedIn to share a brief version of your CV, your, your CV, and highlight your expertise. And then Sister Rachel Samia is also saying hi. Sister Annalisa Pimentel, hello, sister. And then Sister Hera Brennan is saying, begin by praying to God for career guidance. Ensure the prospective job location offers worship services. Very important. And then Brother Arman Kagingin is saying hi to all of us and to our district minister, Brother Moises Cadasale and his family. And we also have Sister Hazel Gutierrez saying, in finding a career, first and foremost is to seek God's guidance. Will not hinder from serving God in terms of schedule, location, and purpose, and will have time with family. And then Sister Rose, we just watched her video earlier. She said, thank you for letting me share my experience of finding a job here in the United States. Of course, thank you for sharing that again. So we'll go ahead and read more of our live chat later. Now we'll go back to our topic, the job pursuit. So not only should you know where to find jobs, but you should know how to find them. We've established the job market can be quite competitive. So how do you make yourself stand out? Sister Lauren Blodgett called in with the same question, so let's hear her call.
Hi, this is Lauren Blodgett. How can I make myself more marketable so that I have a competitive edge in the job market?
All right. So yeah, we all know kind of what we've been saying. The job market now is very competitive. Brother Craig, how can you help or what advice can you give to our sister Lauren and to those who have the same question of how can they make themselves marketable in a competitive market?
Yeah, so that's a great question. Personally, I've, just to continue off of that networking aspect of, finding a job and things like that, finding not only a lot of people in the space that you want to work in, but also finding the right people. Really kind of bring what, your skills to the table. Not only that, but also bring yourself to like what you provide as like a character. Because I feel like, I don't know if you've experienced this as well, but I feel like a lot of employers kind of like based off of like, who you are as a person and as an employee. Are you adaptable? Like, what are you willing to learn? Like, are you willing to grow in that space, whatever that may be? And yeah, that definitely is like a really important aspect in terms of finding jobs, at least in my experience.
Yeah, definitely. I love that you mentioned like kind of like being a good person and also having that characteristics of being a good employee as well. I was gonna say employer, but employee. So because for a job, you can always learn something, or you can always learn what you have to do in a job. But I know you have to be a kind of like a good employee, be loyal, be kind of like what you said, adaptable, and doing what you're supposed to do. And at the same time, being beyond that, not just kind of like doing what you're supposed to do, being more than what they expect of you, I think is also a good aspect of being a good employee. How about you, Brother Michael? What can you recommend or advise?
Well, I would recommend two things. One would be be like very obsessive about building your skills. So as you're, continue to apply to jobs, meeting new people, networking, working on your characteristics, like what Brother Craig was saying, really find out like what the core skills are for the position you're looking for, and then just like really study and just improve on those skills. And so, there's tons of resources out there, like on YouTube you can watch, and also like books and things of that nature. The second thing I would do is invest heavily time and energy in building a personal brand. So whether starting a TikTok account, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, the list goes on and on. This is the best way to really give people like an inside look of who you are as a person. Because the way I see a personal brand is that it's a digital reputation almost. And most people nowadays, especially when they meet you for the first time, back in like the old school days, if you give them like a business card, for example, they would just probably look at your website. They would probably have to hire somebody to find out who you are and run like a background check. But now they just check your social media. They Google you, they check you on Instagram, things of that nature. So this is the best way for you to like share your passions, share your expertise. And I have a friend of mine who actually was in the mortgage space. He was laid off, but one of his skills that he worked on was AI. And we all know AI is blowing up right now. And so he was leading like virtual workshops, in-person events, teaching people how to use AI. And then little did he know, there's a company that recruited him that was also in the mortgage space that brought him on as the marketing director for like AI strategy. So, and that's all because he was posting content and things of that nature. So very, very powerful.
Yeah, I love that you mentioned that. For a lot of people, they're saying, oh, you should not use AI. AI is bad for you. It's going to take your job. Like once AI takes over, you're out. But I love that you mentioned kind of like the good side of AI. Yeah, it does sometimes take over some jobs, but at the same time, you kind of have to just to take advantage of it. Kind of like what you mentioned, use it to strengthen your skills, to learn more, and to broaden what you already know. And also, you mentioned about social media. What stood out to me was you mentioning about having TikTok. So yeah, instead of just using TikTok for those dance trends and those funny videos, like what you said, just take advantage of it and show what you can do off, or kind of like when other people are not looking, when you're at work. A day in a life also helps, I believe, kind of like showing what you do at work, what you're capable of. So I love that you mentioned that.
Yeah, yeah. And just to add on a little bit more of AI, like I see it more as, a mentor of mine had the perfect analogy for it. Like you think about like Tony Stark, right? He's like nothing without the Iron Man suit. He's just a human.
Yeah.
But like the Iron Man suit, when he puts that on, he can save millions of people. So I see AI as like the Iron Man suit. You put that on, it just enhances who you already are. So
It's a tool.
yeah, exactly.
It's a tool that you can
Exactly.
use.
And so the way I see it is like the people who embrace it and use it to enhance like who they are and what they can do are the ones who are going to be like eons ahead.
Yeah. I love that. I love that you think of it that way. And it's a really great way to see it that way, because it definitely does help people to be more out there and have gain more skills. Yeah, so thank you so much for that. I learned a lot in our topic today, and I'm really happy that I was able to be here to talk to you both and learn more about this, how to find a job. Hard out there. But, kind of like you mentioning those recommendations and stuff like that, it kind of like ease the stress a little bit, knowing that there are resources out there that you can use to find a career for you. And so, yeah, like what I said, these are some great advice for our job seeking brethren. We would remember as well that our support comes from our Almighty God, like what we've been mentioning earlier, to have a devotional prayer, ask God for guidance and for help when looking for a career. There might be a job that we really want, but we might end up not getting it. Remember that God knows what's best for us, and He has a bright future in store for His people. So good luck to all of those who are job seeking right now. All right. Do you have any more that you want to mention, or any more closing remarks?
No, particularly.
Yeah. All right.
Always pray, put God at the forefront. of your all of your endeavors, and things will follow through. So,
Definitely.
Yeah, I would say, life is short, so always put your best foot forward. Treat others better than you want to be treated, especially when looking for that opportunity, and just always, um, yeah, just always be good to people.
Right. Yeah. Always be kind. I saw this. I just wanted to mention this email from one of your staff at the college. I loved it because she said, "Hope you do something great or something kind for yourself this weekend." And so I love that. It's like a good reminder to always be kind to yourself and to other people as well. And so, yeah, thank you both so much for your insights on our topic. We'll go ahead and read a little bit more of our live chat here in our show. So, Sister Kathleen, the good is saying hello, INC Radio Oregon. Greetings from New Jersey. And then also Sister Tammy Kataba is saying hi. And Sister Lorelai Kotman, see you on our next blood donation activity po. So see you all there. And then Sister Hazel Gutierrez is just thanking our CMDPS for always providing us your insights and knowledge about health and medical field. And then Sister Melissa Belan is saying to be more marketable is being able to work with all your heart and apply God's teachings in our everyday lives. And then lastly, our sister Orlando Thomas is saying, "Good day, everyone, and hello po to the secretaries of the local of Portland, and greeting to Brother Warren Maneja and his family." All right, so we go to our last segment of our show, which is the District of Oregon News Bulletin. So let's see what's coming up ahead in our District of Oregon. Let's see what activities we have in the District of Oregon Bulletin.
Join us in making a difference. We warmly invite our friends and family to participate in Care for Humanity on October 26, 2025 at 3 p.m. at the Mount Scott Community Center. Your presence can help inspire positive changes in our community. Let's come together for this important cause. The officers of the Society of Communicators and Networkers, also known as SCAN, will host a SCAN Appreciation Day on October 31st, 2025 at 7:30 p.m. at the Portland Function Hall.
All right, so we saw there that we will be having our Care for Humanity this coming tomorrow on Sunday. So we hope to see you all there, kind of like what we were mentioning. Be kind to yourself and do good things to other people. So that's a good way to show your kindness to other people by being in that activity and supporting and being helpful to our community. All right, and before we go on to our birthday and wedding anniversary, I would like to greet our brother Moises Cadasale, who is watching our show today. Hello po, I hope you are well, and thank you for your unending support to our INC radio here in Oregon. All right, so we'll go ahead and go to our birthday. On October 21st, our brother Gerald Yaneza had his birthday from the Hillsboro locale. And also on October 22nd, Sister Melinda Pizarro from Hillsboro as well. And October 23rd, Lucy Talikuran from St. Helens GWS. And October 27, Sister Virginia Revilosa from St. Helens GWS as well. Happy birthday to all of you po. And I hope to those who had celebrated their birthday, I hope you had a great celebration. All right, so to wrap up our show, we would like to thank the following brethren for helping us make this broadcast possible. To our brother Eduardo V. Manalo, thank you so much po, our executive minister, and brother Angelo Eranio Manalo, our deputy executive minister, and brother Wally Taray, our INC radio station manager, brother Moises Cadusale, our district supervising minister, brother Gino Ramilo, our assistant district minister, and brother Manly Andaya, our executive producer, and also our BDS crew here in the INC Radio Oregon, brother Jess Guillermo, Brother Jonah Cadiz, and Sister Flo Guillermo. Thank you all so much for helping us with our show. So look forward to our episode again next week. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, INC Radio DZM 954, and share this program link with friends, and family who could benefit from our topic. And look forward to our next week's topic. That will be a surprise, so we won't mention it today. So thank you again for joining us on this episode of Phone a Friend. Now remember, you always have a friend here, one who is just a phone call away. I hope you all have a great weekend and be kind to yourself and to those who are around you. Have a great Saturday.
Behold the triumphant joys of the Church of